to meet Ray Hunter, or Cobraman as he's otherwise known. And at the end of this trip, Steve is planning to inject the venom of the deadly coral snake. But not everyone thinks it's such a good idea.
My question to you is, why would you want to inject coral snake venom? Drop for drop, it's 2.8 times more toxic than cobra venom.
Steve Ludwin injects snake venom. He's in Florida, where he's learned about the possible beneficial properties of the coral snake and is keen to try its venom before returning to the UK. But first, he's meeting a fellow self-immunizer. Ray Hunter injects himself with 9 separate venoms and is known within the world of self-immunization as Cobraman.
I'm a certified herpetologist. I have a doctorate of science in herpetology. I have a facility in which we import venomous snakes from all over the world. Most of those snakes are resold. The venom that I do produce is sold to universities, different colleges that do toxicology research with the venom. Normally he stands right up and puts on a good show, but I think I just woke him up.
Today, Steve is here to talk to Ray about his self-immunization process.
What snakes are you self-immunizing with? What snakes?
I'm using 9 different venoms. I'll attempt to give them to you from memory. I'm using the king cobra venom, Indian cobra, monocle cobra, Cape cobra, Egyptian cobra, black mamba, West African green mamba, coral snake, and boom slang.
You got it. That's 9.
I win a cookie.
Congratulations.
I started self-immunizing back in 1991 after my first venomous snake bite, which was a canebrake rattlesnake. I decided to self-immunize because I work with so many different venomous snakes, large quantities of them. At any given time, I may be working with up to 300 venomous snakes.
Self-immunization for somebody like Ray is a good idea because he's handling these lethal venomous snakes, and it does work. There's no question about it.
How many bites have you had in your lifetime from venomous snakes?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I wouldn't be able to answer that. I've only counted 44 bites.
The Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake is your worst bite.
That was by far my worst bite, yes.
And that was just about a year and a half ago.
It was August 27th, 2007, my dad's birthday. There was a particularly large Eastern Diamondback for this area. I mean, the venom was carried from the hand straight to the brain and lungs.
Where was the actual bite? Where did the venom go?
One thing went here, and the other went right here, where the radial artery ran, and went right like that.
The moment he was bitten, Ray jumped in his car and headed for the hospital.
He made it to the hospital, but collapsed in the parking lot, and his van drove off into a ditch.
I woke up 5 days later in ICU.
Were you in a coma?
I guess you could say that.
We were doing everything we could to keep him alive at that point. Breathe for him, make his heart beat for him, keep his blood pressure up for him, try to feed him, all of those kind of things for a long time. He had 4 separate operations. He had to go to the operating room for us to save his arm.
This was performed while I was unconscious. From what I understand, it's an 8-cut fasciotomy. You got 2 here. The carpal tunnel release, a cut there. This one underneath here, which was the worst at one point, and then this cut here.
The fasciotomy is an operation where they open the skin because the pressure in the arm or in whatever extremity is so tight that it actually cuts off the blood supply because the pressure in the arm is greater than the blood pressure. Once they relieve the pressure by cutting the skin, blood can flow through so that the muscles and the bones and the skin and all the rest of the tissues remain viable. It's a very serious operation. And you're operating on somebody who's very sick. Somebody who's in a coma, somebody who's been envenomated, somebody who's on dialysis, full life support, and now you have to do an operation on this person. It's tricky stuff.
Despite the accident, Ray is still working with snakes and injecting his mixture of 9 different venoms, which includes the coral snake. Steve is keen to try its venom while in Florida, and Ray has first-hand experience of its potency.
Drop for drop, it's 2.8 times more toxic than cobra venom, this stuff that we just did. a drop of coral snake venom would be like almost 3 drops of this. My question to you is, why would you want to inject coral snake venom?
I'm just kind of interested in working with, something that's more neurotoxic and just seeing how my body can cope with it.
While there may be benefits of self-immunizing with different venoms, there also may be, hazards to it too. So you have to ask yourself, does the risk outweigh the benefits, or vice versa?
Well, yeah, it does to me. I mean, that's what I've been doing. I mean, I sincerely believe that over the years I've been almost exercising my immune system. I really think that it is.
And it does
possible.
peak your immune system.
Yes, it does. And I'm going to find out more results from the immunologist, but that's what they're looking at. That's what I'm really interested in.
I understand that Steve and other people are interested in doing it for the potential medical benefits of it. But again, as I explained to Steve, these are unknown, they're not proven. If somewhere down the road we prove that injecting king cobra venom in us is going to make us healthier and prevent cancer and all this stuff, great, then do what you want to do. But just on the supposition that it's going to, or that it could, or might, I wouldn't rush into it.
The coral snake sits outside the usual profile of a venomous snake due to its coloration and head and body shape. But this elusive snake should not be taken lightly. It has an extremely toxic venom, almost 9 times stronger than the northern Pacific rattlesnake that Steve uses. It is also neurotoxic, attacking the nervous system, a venom Steve is not immune to. Tomorrow morning, Steve will be meeting Ray and Norman to inject the coral snake venom, as he believes it has some amazing benefits.
Kind of totally sucks all the information that I've got from the experts this week and from Ray Hunter. They've really sort of talked the coral snake venom, the neurotoxic effects of that venom up. Apparently it is, a few times stronger than the worst cobra venom. So it's, it's not to be taken lightly. Knowing that it's so sort of, potentially lethal is, it does have my sort of pulse going a little bit quicker than usual, but I still wouldn't do it unless I felt confident that it's fine. My body will be able to cope with it. I don't want to die. This isn't sort of like, wow, I'm not flirting with death here. This is science.
Steve has returned to Norman's workshop on the outskirts of Fort Lauderdale, where he'll be injecting the venom of the coral snake with Norman and Ray for the first time.
Watch that coral snake. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Actually, there's 3 of them in here. This is a big girl.
That's beautiful.
She's not a happy girl today, but
Pop.
yeah. And then I got you a couple smaller ones as well.
You're pretty confident with the coral snakes.
Yeah. Maybe too confident.
It's quite difficult to sort of relax your mind into what you're doing. You're injecting snake venom into your body. Are you an idiot? This isn't supposed to be done. Ray, so yesterday you were sort of saying, why are you doing this? And you seemed a little bit opposed to the idea of me trying a neurotoxin for the first time. Is it the sort of moral issues, or do you have reservations for my health? It's a big difference.
It's more your health. If it were me, I would wait until, research shows and proves that the injection of coral snake venom will prevent this or that or whatever, and then say, okay, well, they've proven it does, so I'm going to go ahead and start immunizing with coral snake venom, as opposed to just doing it on the possibility that it might, and then taking on the potential negative effects of it.
Ray's still not completely happy with Steve's plan to inject the coral snake venom, so they've agreed, once the snake is milked, to dilute Steve's injection down to 1 drop of venom to 1,000 drops of water for his own safety.
The amount that came out there, if that was in your body, that would be a serious
This is a big enough snake to give you a deadly bite.
And then some.
I think that's all we're going to get out of this one. So now we have our fresh venom ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and do my dilution.
Norman takes the venom through a process of dilution, which brings it down to a mixture of 1 in 1,000.
That's a drop. Yeah.
Once the diluted solution has been made, Ray adds a top-up of pure coral snake venom to his already deadly mixture of 9 separate venoms.
How much do you spit in, do you think?
Probably roughly 2 drops. Yeah.
Ray mixes this with his home-prepared combination of venoms and prepares his shot. He then injects the mixture directly into his arm. This is a concoction that would put most people in hospital and possibly kill in a matter of hours. Ray circles the injection site so he can measure the inflammation caused by his injection.
You feel the burn? Mm-hmm. Does it feel a bit stronger than the normal because you've added the coral snake and you feel?
I always get a pretty good sting. You know, but keep in mind I'm using some really hot venoms.
Yeah. But I can already see a discoloration, like above it. I can already see a different coloration, you know, a darker color there.
I would say in about 10 minutes I should have a pretty decent welt that should expand beyond this circle to about probably like a $half size.
What are some of these scars here? Are they from previous injections?
Yeah, that's from cytotoxins from other injections. I think this one was from an Indian cobra or something. Years and years ago.
Right. Probably too strong of an injection.
No doubt.
Once Ray has the deadly liquid in his body, Norman is quick to prepare his shot of a dilution of 1 drop of venom to 10 drops of water. It's taken him 2 years to reach this level from a dilution of 1 to 1,000. As Steve watches, he prepares the area with an alcohol swab and injects deep into his leg.
Go a little bit, like the angle you were talking about. Yeah. And I always try to draw back just to make sure I haven't hit a vein or something. We'll see what happens with more of a pure venom injection. It's going to be a lot. I would say I really don't feel much.
Well, so the next snake that you're going to start working with is the Mojave rattlesnake.
Probably going to work up to the Mojave. Because I've done the pit viper with the wagglers, and it's a very weak venom. I don't really...
But I bet you'll see the difference when you use the rattlesnake venom. You're going to see, you're not going to believe the difference in pain level.
Ray and Norman have built up a huge immunity to their neurotoxic venoms and are very relaxed about their injections. But it's now Steve's turn to inject the coral snake venom, one that he's not immunized against. This is a particularly dangerous thing to do, even amongst the world of self-immunizing. But these risks come hand in hand with this experimentation.
I mean, you gotta remember you're working with liquids that 1 drop is enough to kill a human being. You know, there's not a lot of room for error there.
Steve Ludwin injects snake venom into his body in the hope of reaping its medicinal benefits. He's about to inject himself with the venom of the deadly coral snake, one of North America's most venomous. He normally injects hematoxic venom, which attacks the blood and the body's organs. But Steve is not immunized against this neurotoxic venom, which goes straight to the brain and shuts down the respiratory system. Despite Steve's previous confidence, it seems there are now some nerves creeping in.
So where is the best place to inject this?
I always do my thighs.
I'm going to do my thigh.
Big fatty area. It takes a long time for the venom to even get into your system.
I
As far as
can
moving around.
calf. Is the calf okay? If you look?
You've been doing it longer than I have.
As soon as he injects, Steve immediately notices the difference between this and his own hematoxic venom.
Yeah, that's definitely, 10 seconds into it, I can still feel the burn. That's interesting. I really thought it's not, perhaps this has been diluted so much. Like I said, when I do it, it's like I'll have 2 or 3 drops of venom and I dilute it with like 13 drops of water. So when I'm injecting it, it is way, the hemotoxins that I use have a lot more pain than that.
This type of venom is pretty slow in its action, not like the copperhead venom where you get an immediate burning.
Yeah, slow acting.
What you're seeing here now, Steve, this is what's called systemic reaction.
Even with the copperhead venom, when I inject that, this by now would be that big,
Correct.
swelling, and you can feel it. You know, you can
But keep in mind your dilution. We did a 1 to 1,000
Yeah.
dilution for you over there, and that's very, very little coral snake venom in here right now.
But that's such a safe sort of amount. That's what you were saying. That
That's why we did it.
After the big build-up to the coral snake injection, to Steve, it now all seems like a bit of an anticlimax.
I kind of expected like more swelling because that's what I'm used to, but it's pretty
It's a neurotoxin.
neurotoxin. But there's no danger.
What you have there is all you're gonna get.
Okay.
It's gonna start going
But I'm
down.
not. I wouldn't notice any other sort of symptoms.
No, you shouldn't.
After half an hour of waiting for the venom to cause a reaction, Ray and Norman's injection sites have inflamed, but not to the levels that Steve would have expected.
It's definitely sort of spread.
That's about the most it's gonna do.
These reactions may seem small, but if anyone else had done this, by now they'd be struggling to breathe and would need to be rushed to the hospital. But for Steve, the small response to the venom is nowhere near what he's used to.
There's really nothing to report with mine. Mine's the discoloration's already gone. You know, it's just there's a little bit of a sort of pinkish red spot. There was a sort of stinging sensation for like about 30 seconds, and that's it. I mean, that was a very, very small amount of venom that I used compared to what I usually do. But you know, hey, that's my first time. That's a neurotoxin. That's the coral snake, and you know, I have to trust Ray and Norman that was the recommended dosage to start with. But yeah, I mean, it really it was very small reaction.
Having done his injection, Steve is maybe a little disappointed. But tonight is Steve's last evening in Florida. He's back on the beach at Fort Lauderdale,